Alright guys, TouchGrab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and two teams in the CDL that started the year on very different trajectories have now completely swapped places. New York Subliners certainly on the up, Los Angeles Thieves way on the down. Nadeshot reckons that Jacob is not the issue with the team, and Crimsix explaining just what makes New York so strong at the present time. But very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy the video, subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Really upset the channel, thank you very much indeed for doing that. Another pretty good, to be honest, Will Smith meme from this morning. 25 XP for the most melee kills, should be a doubly, but I can forgive Crone for this one in all honesty. This is also from New York, because you guys might remember at the start of the year, New York, like what hardpoint loss streak when New York on? Was it like was it 11 loss streak or something? They were on a horrendous loss streak in hardpoint. Their hardpoint was just atrocious at the start of the season. Since bringing out, well of course, Clayster's gone out, Neptune's come back into the team, but so has Paul X of course. They've changed some things around with their roles, like things have been so dramatically different for them. On a 6 hardpoint win streak right now, like I mean they're out of control. It's very impressive to see. So while New York had a few other words to say, Crimsix says last night, GG's to also at 1-3-1, teams playing incredible, establishing the momentum going into Major 2. Of course, in the very first round, they play up against Atlanta FaZe. That's going to be far from easy, but FaZe have not looked incredibly good as of late, and with New York looking as good as they have in the hardpoints, there's a decent chance they take this series the distance. And it's pretty incredible to think, like, after just a few weeks ago where we thought, okay, New York just the worst team of all time, like, they're just not going to be able to make anything happen, just one change later and a few things have changed around within the roster, and all of a sudden we're saying, okay, maybe they actually can put up a fight against FaZe here and take them the distance. Who knows what's going to happen? And of course, as a result, a lot of people are saying, okay, yeah, Clay was clearly the problem, like, get this guy out of here, obviously terrible. Of course, that doesn't tell the entire story. JP Chris from within the team itself says, look, I'm getting tired of this narrative that one player, that being Clayster, was the sole problem of our hardpoint. Paul is an incredible second AR that supports a main so well. Travis, that being Neptune, regained confidence in challenges. Don't really know about that one because I thought he went to challenges and got bodied for a few weeks, but I don't know. Crim's playing a lot slower on the main EO and letting Paco and Travis, that being Hydra and Neptune, do the flying around. So that seems to make sense, I think, for Crim to slow it down a little bit. He seems to be really good and well suited to this main assault rifle role right now, which in fairness, we kind of thought he would be right when the whole roster change discussions started to go around. Here we go, 0-13 in hardpoint. Yeah, started out the season 0-13, that's great. 13 losses in a row, and of course now they're on a 6-win streak. So things have changed very much indeed. JP explaining that it's not just the fact that Clayster was there, but of course, you know, people are going to look at this team and say, well, Clay was in the team, now he's not in the team, where were they, now where are they? And say, okay, maybe we don't want to pick up Clayster to our roster, but certainly some other teams might need some changes. Wanted to share a few words as well what Crimsix had to say last night, saying, look, we're looking very good, teams should start watching VOD and start preparing for us, because still, for some reason, other teams don't seem to think New York is still pretty good right now, but we're coming for blood at the major.
How confident are you in NYSL to really just pop off, man, on that main stage?
Oh, I'm getting sick and tired of us beating people and then people tweeting out, at the lowest point, we lost to New York, we must be horrible, right? Like, we must be complete, how do I say this? I've already cursed twice, I'm gonna get fined. Like, everyone thinks we're complete dog, all right? Hey, no longer, all right? Start taking us serious, start watching our VODs, and we'll see what happens, all right? Okay? I'm getting sick and tired of it.
Neptune also had a few words on it on the flank last night I thought was pretty interesting about when Paul X came into the team, a completely different vibe within the roster, right? I think he also went on to say something along the lines of, like, when Clay's there, the dynamic is rather different, to be honest, in terms of, like, he obviously respects Clayster, what he's achieved, all this type of stuff, but a lot of the kind of behind the scenes in scrims, there were a lot of frustrations in terms of the way people were playing the game, and also just that the general play style and the way things were meshing between Crim and Clay probably wasn't going to work in a game like Vanguard anyway, where your main assault rifle and your flex player have to play at a very fast pace, that seemingly those guys, and also put up some great numbers that really those guys weren't doing on a consistent basis. This is what Neptune has to say. Good to see this guy back in business, because he's been probably the key piece of their turnaround, to be honest, going from a 0.7 to basically a 1.1 every single series he plays.
I feel like I was overthinking a lot of things, but now it just feels like it's just like a brand new start, like, and I don't know. I feel like I'm like more comfortable now.
Yeah. I think to knock on that question, like, I know you guys were in such a low point like 2 weeks ago. Did you guys think at that point that you were likely going to be in winners? Do you think you were going to be in losers? Like what was your kind of thought at the time?
What you're saying, like when we first picked up Paul?
Yeah. Well, right before you guys picked up Paul, right, when you guys were dropping Clay and it was kind of the low of the low. Like, did you guys think you had a chance of winners? Do you think, oh, it's gonna be another losers bracket run? Like,
honestly, thought? Like at that time, like I didn't even like really, I wasn't thinking like that at all. But like I knew once we like picked up Paul though, I was like, let's go. Like I don't know, like as soon as we picked him up like in scrims and stuff, I could tell like it was just a completely different vibe, and like I actually felt like we had a real chance.
Yeah, no, I feel like Paul was like the biggest sleeper pick You know?
Nah, he's insane.
But some teams certainly not making it through to the winners bracket. As someone that says can't relate, no winners. Of course, they get the 4th seed in the end, higher than FaZe, but of course 4th plays 5th. Therefore, they'll play FaZe in round 1 we looked at earlier today. But of course, one team that has the 12th seed right now is Los Angeles Thieves going into the major. They play theoretically the hardest game in round 1 because because they're the 12th seed, they play the loser of the 4th or the 5th seeds, which is going to be either New York Subliners or Atlanta FaZe. So going to be a tough match for Los Angeles Thieves. Whichever way the cookie crumbles, to be honest, 0-5. Thought this is another pretty good. As I say, as I said earlier today, there's been a lot of memes about this. It's probably overused, but I still thought this one was pretty good, to be honest, because Los Angeles Thieves, they're not taking anybody down. Draza says it's all about the bounce back. Can you bounce back though? Can the team bounce back? It's a lot of people would say probably unlikely at the present time. Jacob also had a few words to say, basically like, Thieves fans, you guys deserve better. I'm working on it. I did always think this tweet phrasing was quite interesting. The team himself is working on it. He's working on, okay, moving the chess pieces around. We're going to bring this player in, drop this guy, bring this guy in, all this type of stuff. But of course, we raised the point yesterday, is it possible that, JCap, Mudog, the kind of management coaching staff over there is not making the best decisions? Because you look at their results the last few years with rosters that theoretically should be pretty good, they're not getting anywhere near those results. And of course, at some point, the question is going to turn to the coaching staff and the management system in general as to whether they've actually made good decisions, and it's not necessarily just the players. But Nadeshot disagrees. He kind of says, look, it's not a friendship league that we've brought Jacob into the team. He is a fantastic, obviously a Call of Duty veteran, 2-time world champion. The players respect him an awful lot. Does that necessarily make him a good coach? That's another question mark. But Nadeshot seems pretty keen to keep these guys as part of the system and believes they can do a great job still.
If it came down to it, and I want you guys to understand this, if it came down to it, all 4 players came to Mud Dog and came to me and said, hey, we don't want this guy in this room with us anymore. We don't think he can get us where we need to go. We're gonna move on. But this mentality on the COP competitive subreddit that we're only keeping JCap around because I'm friends with him is bullshit. We're keeping JCap around because he is an incredible coach, is wildly successful in his career, and there is nobody at the caliber of which he approaches the game besides other coaches like Rambo and Crowder. But in general, you look across the league, I can't name 3 people that I would trust to coach our team with the investment that we've made into this thing.
But as I say, they are going to have to prove that very quickly indeed, because Los Angeles Thieves obviously starting in the losers bracket here at the major. If things don't go right here, they're going to have to do some sort of roster rebuild. The good thing is for Thieves, I think in theory, is that plenty of other teams are struggling right now. We look at the likes of Toronto Ultra, we look at a lot of the kind of middle of the pack teams, right? Minnesota Rocker, Seattle Surge, Florida Mutineers, right? Who knows? All these teams could make some sort of moves after the major if they want to, and that means Los Angeles Thieves potentially have access to some pretty good free agents on the market. Or maybe not free agents, but just some, players that they could potentially poach for a big sum of money. Of course, in order to make successful moves, you have to actually be making intelligent decisions, right? Like if they can potentially get Kleenex or like a Vivid or something, who knows what they want to do to change up their SMG line, but it's probably something they want to consider doing. A lot of people have said, and you can look at New York, right? New York have done great since their move with Clay to the bench. What if you put Octane to the bench, Kenny to main ER, Draza to the flex, move everyone up 1 degree, and then bring in another SMG, right? But of course, you've got to find another SMG somewhere, and whatever the team decides to do, Jacob and Modog, they've got to make the call as to what change they want to make, even if these type of big players are actually on the market. I'm pretty sure even in the offseason there was some talk about bringing Kleenex to Los Angeles Thieves anyway, alongside Envoy, I think, and then that didn't really work out. He re-signed for Toronto, and then of course Draza was there on the starting team instead, playing in that SMG role. Hasn't really worked out for them so far, especially the last few weeks, so definitely some big questions to be raised. Nadeshot seems confident they're going to get it right, but I think after the major, they're going to have many opportunities on the table. They've just got to make the right call as to what they think is going to work for their team, to be honest. Now, one player that some people have been talking about, right, is Pristini. He subbed in yesterday for Atlanta FaZe. I wasn't really sure if he was going to play all that much this season. He talked about a few funny things, to be honest. They say he didn't even know the rotations. One of the hardpoints, he rotated to one of the tree houses, and the hardpoint was actually all the way on the other side of the map. So, of course, not particularly ideal. But all things considered, he played pretty well yesterday. I think he played better than a fair few pros have so far this season. He confirmed last night he does plan to return to competing after Major 2, and potentially there's offers on the table. He went on to say that Paul Hamilton over at FaZe said to him that, okay, he would basically let him go for free if he gets an offer on a pro team. Is he someone to consider?
On this guy's account?
Bruh, the shots I was hitting today had me surprised, bro.
You were
I legit
fine.
impressed myself.
Wait, so Preston, are you trying to come back?
Yeah, after Minnesota, I was probably going to.
Oh.
Bro, Tommy, you should
saying in the watch party with the fresh hands.
You're gonna play in Challenger?
Oh yeah, Preston. I was
Yeah,
saying,
probably
dude, you
Challenger.
came back with some fresh hands, man. If you haven't played COD in a while, you hop on, your hands are fresh, bro. They're feeling good.
Oh, they were moving, bro.
Yeah,
for sure.
bro, your hands be moving when you don't play COD for a little while. You
There
know.
was one
So Pristini's certainly a very valuable player. I think he was pretty solid last year on Seattle Surge. Of course, he's a world champion back in the 5v5 days of Black Ops 4. I feel like 5v5 suited a guy like Pristini better because he's not always going to drop the greatest numbers, but he is going to have a fair amount of impact. But in a game like this, you kind of need the numbers, right? That's the thing in 4 versus 4. Pristini's probably a slightly less attractive option, but still, who knows, right? He looked pretty good in this series. Paul X had a good couple of series when he subbed in for London, and then immediately he gets picked up to New York and is helping that team become seemingly one of the best in the game over the last few weeks. So maybe something similar can happen here with Pristini. I guess we'll keep our eyes on it, but Los Angeles Thieves, I guess they might be keeping their eyes peeled. This also to mention, right, because you guys know the importance of coin flips right now, especially in regular stages. The major, it doesn't matter because, well, who gets to decide who vetoes whatever. Effectively the way it works, before the series, in the qualifying games, seeding is not important, and therefore the team that wins literally a coin flop, I guess they do it like an online coin flipper thing, or there's a real coin, who knows. The team that wins that gets an advantage in the vetoes, as in they just get to decide what control map they play, because there's only 2 right now, so they just get to ban one and they play the other one. That's incredibly important, especially because Gavutu is generally an AR map, Tuscan is generally an SMG map. If you win the coin toss, you just get to decide what you prefer to play on and what the other team might potentially struggle on. And the major, it just comes down to seeding who gets to decide that. But of course, if you get unlucky with your coin tosses, pretty sure Minnesota Rocket back in Modern Warfare got exceedingly unlucky and lost a 10 or something in a row. And so far, Los Angeles Guerrillas, they haven't been looking all that good either. So yeah, 0-4 so far this stage apparently. Some teams get lucky, some teams get unlucky, and it does potentially down the line cause some differences in terms of these series. Optic and Florida overall maybe just about the luckiest teams at least so far, but all things considered, it probably doesn't make that much difference when you're a team that's just so good at control anyway. But I mean, still, it's kind of interesting why this is even a thing still, to be honest. That some teams just get unlucky. Over the course of the season, it should balance out, but maybe it will, maybe it won't. Wanted to look at some stats actually here. Viewership for the Major 2 qualifiers, of course, no surprise, the top 5 matches here. LA Thieves Optic, FaZe Optic, all the other Optic games as well. Average viewership about 36,000. Peak viewership obviously was this series, right? I'm pretty sure 36k is about on par as to what it was last year. I think Crone also said that last year peak viewership was 94k and average viewership 36k for Major 2 or for Stage 2 last year. So of course it's still online. The Major should be better again, especially if Optic continues to do pretty well. It's a much better time to be a Call of Duty fan than it was kind of in the depths of the off-season when there were a lot of frustrations about the state of the game. But again, let's talk about this just to close out the video. I thought this is incredible, to be honest. Lionman made this for the last 30 days, YouTube views all across the place. Some, Optic #1, Breaking Body put on here as well. He was kind enough to add in after the fact this channel on here as well, which, I mean, look at this, baby. 1.71 mil does blow the mind, to be honest. Now, how much support you guys give to these videos on a regular basis wouldn't be possible to any of you guys. And yeah, maybe if you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, we'll overtake Optic, baby. They're checking their mirrors right now. But very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit a like button. Tells the YouTube gods it's a good video, and as like you should see it as well. And help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.